Rideshare apps are supposed to make things easier. A few taps on your phone and a stranger shows up to take you to where you need to go. But what happens when that stranger has no intention of dropping you off safely? When the locks click and the road signs start looking unfamiliar? Tonight we're diving into some horror stories from Uber and Lyft passengers, all of whom who trusted the wrong driver. This happened to a girl in Phoenix in 2019. She was leaving a concert alone and ordered an Uber around 11:45 p.m. The car pulled up within a couple of minutes. It matched the make and model on her app, and the guy waved at her as soon as she walked over. She got in, and right away, something felt off. He didn't greet her, didn't confirm her name, didn't start the GPS, just pulled away and started driving. She tried to brush it off until he said her full name, not, "Hey, are you Sarah?" but, "So, Sarah Green, you like these late night concerts, huh?" She froze. He wasn't reading off the app. He didn't glance at his phone. He said it like he already knew. She asked how he knew your full name. He just smiled and said, "You posted it a while ago. You used to tag your job too, that little bakery on 7th Street. That's when she knew. It wasn't her Uber. She reached into her purse and pressed the side button on her iPhone 5 times, activating the emergency SOS. He didn't notice. She quickly unbuckled her seatbelt, waited until he slowed for a turn and threw the door open, tumbling out onto the street, scraped up her arms and knees pretty badly, but at least she got away. She never reported it to police, just blocked the number and deleted all her location tag posts, but never used Uber again. A college student named James shared this story online earlier last year. He was headed home from a late night study session on campus. It was cold out and he didn't really feel like walking the 30 minutes back to his dorm, so he called a Lyft. The driver showed up in a black Hyundai, matched the photo, but the second James got in, the guy just stared ahead, didn't say a word, didn't even respond when James asked how it was going. He just started driving. James noted the app said 12 minutes to home, but within 2 minutes, the car was already going the opposite direction. He asked, "Hey, is this the right way?" No answer, just silence. The driver pulled onto the highway James had never taken before. It was after midnight by this time, and the road was almost empty. James started texting a friend his location. Then, as if the driver noticed, the man slammed on the brakes, pulled to the shoulder, turned around slowly and said, "Get out." James didn't argue, and the man never explained, never looked angry, just told him to leave. He walked nearly 2 miles to the nearest gas station. When he checked the app later, the ride was still in progress, and the driver had taken the car away out to a rural area before ending the trip. This one's from a woman named Lena. She was out at a late hour, celebrating a friend's birthday in LA, around 1 a.m, and she decided she would call for a lift home. The driver showed up, nothing out of the ordinary, but when she got in and shut the door, she heard a mechanical click, louder than usual. She pulled the handle to adjust her seat, and she noticed something strange. The lock on the door wasn't the usual toggle. It looked almost custom, like it had been screwed in. She tried opening it just to see, but it wouldn't budge. That's when she asked, "Hey, can you unlock the door for a sec?" The driver ignored her. He just kept driving, fast. Took a left turn onto a dim residential street. Luna didn't panic. Not yet. She kept calm, pretending to text a friend, but was really calling 911. She whispered her location, left the line open. The driver pulled into a driveway, not her address, and turned the engine off. Before he could say anything, blue and red lights lit up the street. The guy tried to back out of the driveway, but the police had already blocked him in. Turns out this was not her driver. He'd taken off his plates, mirrored the real car's model, and just circled the area waiting. No charges were filed because she got out safely, but the dispatcher told her he knew exactly how to make the car feel like a trap. This one's subtle, but creepy because it feels so possible. A guy named Aaron was heading home from his girlfriend's house. He only lived about 20 minutes away. Ordered a Lyft, everything seemed fine, except instead of taking the usual highway, the driver started out through the back roads. Aaron asked why. The driver said there was an accident ahead and he knew a shortcut. It sounded pretty reasonable. But 30 minutes passed, then 40. Aaron checked his app. It was stuck, no route, just in progress. He asked again, "Where are we going?" The driver said, "Almost there." That's when Aaron saw the gas gauge. It was nearly empty. But instead of stopping at a station, they passed it. The driver kept going. Aaron said, "Can you let me out at the next light?" The man didn't respond. Didn't blink. Aaron reached into his bag, pulled out a metal water bottle, and said loudly, "Hey, stop the car, or I'll make you stop it." The man slowed and let him out without a word. Aaron memorized the plate, reported it to Lyft, but nothing ever came of it. He still wonders if the guy really even was his Lyft driver. This one was actually shared by a police officer. A woman had reported a suspicious Uber ride. She said that the driver made inappropriate comments, then locked the doors and wouldn't let her out until she screamed loud enough to attract attention. She filed a report, and the driver was brought on for questioning. He claimed nothing happened, said she was paranoid and overreacting, but he had a dash cam and willingly handed over the footage. So the cops reviewed it, and what they saw wasn't just creepy, it was strategic. The driver had disabled the child lock override, routed her off the normal path, and kept his hand on the center console, where a taser was later found. He turned down the volume on her side of the car, so no one outside could hear. She got lucky. A passing jogger saw her banging on the window and called it in. He was charged, not with kidnapping, but with unlawful restraint and possession of a weapon. The last one is short, but it's still kind of haunting. A 22-year-old named Derek ordered a rideshare from a bar around midnight. His friend said goodbye, and he got into the silver sedan parked right out front. The app showed he was en route, but 30 minutes later, his phone was offline. He never came home. The next morning, his phone pinged once from a woodland area outside town. They found it on the side of the road. The car he got into was never identified. No license plates, no confirmed driver. Uber said no ride was ever accepted under his name that night. And Derek still hasn't been found. We trust strangers with our lives every time we step into a rideshare. But when you're behind locked doors with no control over where you're headed, the wrong driver can turn a simple ride into something you never forget. If you have any creepy or Lyft Uber story experiences, you can let me know in the comments. We might read out your story in a different episode. And until then, stay alert and stay safe. Thanks for watching.